Hi guys, welcome back to the workshop. I'm Nick Reeves and this is the build of what I'm calling Project A just now. First of all, I'd like to apologise if I sound full of the cold, because I am. Just trying to do this bit of video so I can just get this bit of gluing done. Now, in the last video I showed you the wing panels glued together. I've also cut the leading edge nose section off, leaving these two sections which will be stuck on later. The reason for cutting the nose sections off is to put like a ply spar in, which is also going to be used as a firewall, which I've made out of birch ply. It's rough, it's ready, it's just going to fit because this is a prototype. I'm expecting this to crash. So all I've done is I've just used 3mm M3 bolts into T-nuts. On the back of the birch ply there's a piece of light ply for the T-nuts to get a bite into, so that's actually 6mm thick at that point. Once it's glued on, behind here there'll be a cutout for the tank. I'm just going to use a 2-ounce tank just for experimenting in the back there. 2-ounce tank for a 12 should last long enough. So I'm going to get on and glue this up. So that's the spar glued on. I've used 20mm epoxy on that, just to see how it goes, to be honest. The epoxy I got the other day from, I bought a couple of these tubes from the pound shop. It's meant to be pretty good epoxy, but this first tube actually broke the tube, so I don't know how much of this one I'll be able to actually use. It seems to go off alright, just on the backing plate and the doubler on this. But for £1 it was worth a try. I got a couple of them, so even if I just have one in the flight box just for running repairs on site at the flying field. So I'm just going to let that dry now, and then I'll come back to you once I can get a bit more done. Right then, so main spar glued on. Again, I don't know how well you'll be able to see this because of the light and everything in here. But the main spar is glued on. It's still not 100% fully cured, but it's solid enough to handle. What I can do now is the nose pieces, I can glue them on. What I've already done is I've shortened them by roughly 1 inch to allow for the space of the engine mount. So these can now sit on here. They'll be epoxied on. I've made sure there's enough space between the edge of the foam and the engine mount that I can slide a piece of balsa in just to face it off once it's done. It's probably overkill for what I want to do just now, but if it does fly I wouldn't mind flying it for as long as possible. Don't want fuel getting into it and destroying it. So yeah, I just need to glue both of these on now. It'll start to look how I want it to look. Once these are on and glued, then I can get some leading edge on, I can get some trailing edge on, and I can start looking at some elevons as well. So yeah, I'll crack on with that. So then, that's the two nose sections glued back on. Fairly straightforwards. I've lined them up so that I can get the leading edge balsa on as one piece. Might have to do a bit of sanding at this step area on both sides, but that's nothing to worry about. Yeah, so next stage will be leading edge, trailing edges, but I need to leave this to dry now for about an hour. Even though it's 20mm epoxy, always best to leave it a bit longer. So maybe in the next bit I'll start digging out some material making the leading edges and trailing edges. So it's all going to be quarter thick. so it's probably going to be 1/4 by 3/8, I guess, to go on the front, and possibly 1/4 by the same to go on the back, and then sand it down. I also need to go back to the drawing and get the measurements for the elevons as well. Probably going to make them out of 3/16 sheet or something, nothing fancy. I also need to work out where all the cutouts and things are going to be. I need to work out where the spar is going to be. So yeah, I need to get the trailing edge balsa on and glued before I cut the spar slot at the back, just to try and keep the wing, have some integrity to it. So yeah, that'll be the next bit of the film. Alright then, it's a few days since I filmed the last piece of this video. Being ill knocked me sideways quite a lot. But anyway, back onto the wing project just now. Excuse me. So the next stage really is to get some leading edge and trailing edge on. Once they're on, it should be a lot stiffer, which means then I can get the spar in at the back and then work out everything else after that. Now, leading edges, trailing edges. What I want to do is use up not so much scrap but wood I've already got. Over there I've got bought brand new every kind of size of balsa wood you can think of. Underneath the bench here I've got boxes of what I call remnants that I've bought up over the years. So it's other people's new stock that they've had and cleared out. So I'd rather use that first. So I've been rummaging through there to find out what I've got. For the trailing edge I found this 1/4 square, there's 5 pieces there, so I'll use that for the trailing edge. For the leading edge I couldn't find anything the right size that's cut already, but I've got this nice stiff piece of balsa, which if I can find my stripper I'll run straight down the middle. Half it is going to be the right size, I only need 2, so I've got that. And also while I was looking I found a nice piece of 3/16, which I think I should be able to get, a nice stiff piece, should be able to get 2 elevons out of. I'll need to do some measuring to work it out, but I think I should be able to get 2 out of that. So that would be the woodwork. I don't think I should because I think it's still gluing at the time, but the wing is now one piece. Firewall spar is in, the mount's in. What I might do is take a little bit off the front of the foam just to clear the engine, but I'm not quite sure where the engine's going to sit. I might have made a little bit of a mistake with this, but I won't know just yet. I need to do some other things first. But either way, it's not going to be a major problem because this is a prototype. This is where I want to make all the mistakes. So I'm going to crack on and get some bits stuck on. Okay, so a little bit more time's passed. Still the same day though. I've now got the trailing edge and the leading edge gluing on. I don't know how well you'll be able to see that, but there's some bolts on the leading edge, on the trailing edge. That'll take 24 hours to cure properly. I can start sanding and shaping. One thing that has dawned on me, I haven't actually thought about the tips yet, whether or not to put a piece of wood on the tips. I don't know if it's really going to be worth it for this first one, but we'll see. I don't want to go too overboard with this one because I just want to get it flying. The reason for putting the ones I've seen have been made of EPP, so the foam itself is stronger, and they haven't got balsa or wooden leading edges or trailing edges, they've just got shaped foam. Because this is just EPS, expanded polystyrene, I wanted to give it a bit more strength. So that's why I've got the balsa leading and trailing edges. I don't know about the tips, I might just put a very thin 30-second piece of balsa or something on, something out of the scrap box, just to strengthen up the tip for putting the tape on. I mentioned about having this piece of balsa for the elevons. I haven't actually measured up yet to see if I can get them out of that piece. But what I have been doing is I've been looking around to see what material I've got for a trailing edge spar, for want of a better word. like a spar that goes probably 3/4 of the span of the wing, more along the trailing edge to give it some strength. First thing I pulled out was 3mm by probably 6mm spruce. Again, I don't know how well you'll be able to see that. In my hand it feels quite bendy and whatnot, but I suspect once it was epoxied in, it'd be alright. I've also got some carbon rod, which is 3mm, not quite as long, probably not quite as bendy. And then if I want to go overkill, I've got some probably 5mm square section carbon, and that's really stiff. I don't know if I want to use that on this. What I'll probably do is use the spruce, just because it's cheap and cheerful, and cut that in, epoxy it in place, and just see how strong it becomes. The tape is going to add a lot of strength to it, but we're way off there yet. Next stage, really, once I've got the leading edge and trailing edge sections glued on, is obviously they need shaping. I need to work out where this rear spar's got to be, and I'm going to work out where the servos have got to be as well, and start getting them figured out. But for now, that's a good point to end this video. If you're liking this sort of build, give us a thumbs up, give us a comment below. I'll try and detail below what I've done, but I'd like to think the video explains what I've been doing. If you're not already and you're watching this, subscribe down here. Tick the bell, you get notifications when I put a new video up. What I'm trying to do now is put the build videos, series videos, out on a Saturday, and any other videos that I do might well be on a Wednesday. I don't know how that's going to pan out, but that's just, again, it's just an experiment. But we'll see how it goes. As I said, if you like this sort of thing, let me know. All feedback is appreciated. Comments below, and just messages and whatnot. Even hints and tips, you know, if you think I'm doing something wrong or could do something better, let me know. This is just an experiment more than anything. So, but yeah, from me here in the workshop, I'll catch you again soon.